Guys understand how to maximize results within the eShop search system, and it's hard to blame them. But it's the last hope, dead zone survival, that really put West Connection on the map for many of us. It all started this month when this image went viral on social media featuring Ellie from The Last of Us with the serial number filed off. The tactic worked though, and the digital detritus spread like wildfire across the internet, along with this thrilling trailer.
The decision was made to send a man into the future, to investigate, to prevent, to save the world from an inevitable disaster. Brian Lee, a soldier, a father, a hope.
A hope.
Okay, you heard that music, right? You heard the voice acting, you saw those story sequences. Even with the disclaimer text that it does not represent actual gameplay, I was surprised to learn that none of this stuff made it into the game. The Last Hope has zero voice acting, virtually no music, and basically nothing else resembling that trailer. So if you thought that trailer looked bad, you haven't seen anything yet. Now the game begins with this Unity splash screen, followed by a completely static title screen that resembles key art from Ubisoft's The Division. You know, the whole backpack-wearing soldier man walking grimly into a desolate city with his back turned to the camera thing? Yeah, they nailed it. From this menu then, you can select from New Game, Loading, or Controls.
Loading.
If you select New Game, you'll be treated to a series of still images with poorly written slides explaining the situation at hand.
Government discloses shocking revelations about future crisis and launches investigation invention of time machine, raises concerns over impending zombie outbreak and human survival.
The game then loads into an exceptionally choppy first-person cutscene showing your character waking up in a hospital room. Welcome to The Last Hope, I guess. You play as time-traveling commando Brian on his quest to save humanity, I suppose. It's not entirely clear. Your first objective is to leave the hospital, and it's here that you'll start to feel your soul slipping away. This hospital consists of 3 rooms, all divided by loading screens. Your hospital room, a hallway just outside your room, and a staircase. Right away, you'll notice that the frame rate is completely unlocked and unstable from the start, though it will get much worse before we're finished. For you image quality junkies, you'll be relieved to know that it runs at native 1080p in docked mode and 720p in portable mode, which would be nice if the performance wasn't completely terrible. Now, once you reach the bottom of the stairs, you'll be greeted by a much longer loading screen that eventually takes you out into the city. The entirety of this game takes place in and around this U-shaped street littered with zombies and muscle cars. The world itself is slathered in low-resolution repeating textures with virtually no lighting at all. Shadows are exceptionally low-res and barely coherent. Anyone familiar with the Unity Asset Store may recognize some of the props used here. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I did identify some of them. For instance, they're using the Zombies Pack V2 from Studio New Punch to handle, all of the zombies in the game.
But an insulting song.
Por amor de Deus.
The items decorating the shelves in the grocery store come from the Supermarket Gluttony Pack by Necobolt. You'll also find recognizable car models, and it's likely they're using one of the City Builder packs as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the game's main characters are hiding somewhere in the asset store as well. Alas, sometimes it can break the illusion. For instance, the assets they used to create the hospital beds and equipment feature European-style outlets, yet in the staircase just outside the door you'll find an American flag proudly displayed. As best as I can tell, this is supposed to take place in America, but who the heck knows? Speaking of America, here's how The Last Hope stacks up against The Last of Us. This is the remastered version for PlayStation 4, by the way, and despite its age, I think it's fair to say that it does have a visual advantage over The Last Hope. I don't think Naughty Dog has anything to worry about here. Do you think people will fall in love with Brian like they did with Joel? Can't wait to see the fan art. Oh, and here's how Eva stacks up against Ellie. As you can see, West Connection Limited opted to use a very low-quality bootleg of Ellie's model with the same outfit and design. I'm almost impressed with how blatant a ripoff this really is. I would almost describe this as asset theft, if not for...
Man, what the fuck?
For the fact that their bootleg version of Ellie is so poor. And of course, they did not bother with rigging up any of the faces either, so every character in the game has a completely static expression at all times. The Last Hope also boasts a highly dynamic frame rate. For those not satisfied with the typical 30 or 60 FPS lock, you're in luck because The Last Hope is all over the place. That said, while it's highly variable, it at least runs smoother than World War Battle Heroes Field Army's Call of Prison Duty Simulator, which spends a lot of time under 20 frames per second. In certain instances, the game even appears to break apart with visible glitching appearing everywhere. Weird blooming artifacts, flickering shadows, and broken alpha textures are just a few of the problems, and there's always a chance the game will crash when you try to open a door, causing you to lose all progress. And when you reboot the game, there's also a risk of accidentally hitting the new game option, as the main menu remains active beneath the Unity splash screen. Whoops.
What?
And speaking of glitches, there's even a door in a game that requires you to press the E key to open it. Yeah, that doesn't exist on a Switch controller, meaning you can never open this door. All storytelling is handled via these text boxes, which often awkwardly intersect with other UI elements. As I noted earlier, there's no voice acting in this game, and the writing itself makes Twitter shitposts read more like Tolstoy. Oh my god. Then there's the soundtrack. There's one song used for the main menu, but for the rest of the game, the only ambient sound you will ever hear are zombies, though it sounds like they recorded someone snoring and slapped it into the game.
Ah, mano, por amor de Deus. Olha o gajo a andar. Mano, este jogo é espetacular. Bro, este jogo está excelente.
But really, it's the design and economy of this game that perhaps fascinates me the most. It's basically a 15-minute game from start to finish, if you play it correctly. But it's very easy to break the game entirely. So to better understand this, let's look at the game's economy, if you will.
Eu acho que vou mesmo jogar isto sem
Firstly,
stream.
Brian has a health bar, a stamina bar, and access to exactly 3 weapons over the course of the game. A baseball bat, a pistol, and an assault rifle. Okay, technically you have a 4th weapon if you count the Molotov cocktail, which can be crafted from this awful menu system. This requires a bottle and a gas canister. I only found 2 gas canisters, but 3 bottles, so there might actually be 3 Molotov cocktails available in this game. So, using some rough bullet math, I determined that there are 64 available bullets for the handgun across the game, and 100 for the assault rifle. Killing a zombie requires 3 bullets from your pistol, 4 from the assault rifle, or 3 hits with your bat. You can swing your bat 20 times on a single stamina meter, and there are 3 MREs in the game to refill your stamina, but it only refills partially. Stamina also drains permanently if you run. This means if you nail every single shot in every bat swing while never running, you can kill 46 zombies with your firearms and 12 zombies with the bat, making for a total of 58 enemies you can kill.
Okay.
Go ahead and add in another 8 zombies or so if you count that Molotov cocktail from earlier. Yet there's roughly 3, 4, or even 5 times as many zombies total in this game. So why does it matter? Well, in certain circumstances, if you waste even 1 bullet, you can wind up in an unwinnable situation. Let me explain. So after leaving the pharmacy at some point, you're asked to lockpick this police car. This is the second of 3 total lockpicking minigames across the entire game. Problem is, the action does not pause while picking the lock, yet there's no indication that anything's happening around you. Which is annoying as heck, by the way. They really wasted $15 on this stupid thing. The camera pulls out and you die instantly no matter what. Even worse, the game usually soft locks on the "You Dead" screen, forcing you to quit the game entirely, back to the Switch OS menu, and restart it. Just be careful not to button through the Unity logo and start a new game by accident. Also note that the game locks you into this section via a checkpoint, so you cannot go searching for supplies, though there really aren't any anyways. To finish this section then, you'll need to kill each zombie in the area, which means you need exactly enough bullets and bat swings in order to eliminate them. If you dared toggle the sprint or kill any other enemies on your way to this point, you may not actually have enough ammo to complete it.
E a Eva não
Any
faz
remaining
nada.
zombies will walk over to the police car and kill you while you're picking that lock. But that's not even touching on the problem with Ellie, or Eva.
Eva.
Halfway through the game, you encounter her in the library. This is about 7 minutes in, by the way.
Oh, man,
and she
por
begins
amor
to
de
follow
Deus.
you. If Eva comes within spitting distance of a single zombie, she enters a crouch state and will remain there until all zombies around her are dispatched.
Oh, man,
With
por
the
amor de
limited
Deus.
number of enemies that you can kill due to the limited ammunition, this becomes a real problem, as it can leave you
Oh, man.
without enough ammo to finish the game if she crouches at the wrong spot. So the game boils down to snaking alongside the outer wall of the city area and hoping that she doesn't crouch. But if she does, you also need to hope that you can make it to the next loading screen before she dies. All of this is made more hilarious by the game's structure. Objectives are laid out in a linear fashion on this U-shaped boulevard. You're always locked into specific sections of the street though until you complete the current objective, so there is no exploration in this game whatsoever. Speaking of which, remember those moments in the trailer where it said footage does not represent actual gameplay, but it showed Brian using an assault rifle and Molotovs in the library? Well, there's a good reason for that text, because I found no actual way to return to the library or any other place in the game with weapons that you obtain later. Suddenly that text makes a lot more sense.
Quanto é que
So
isto
let's
custa
talk
na
about the
Switch?
mission structure. From the moment you leave the hospital, the game will present exactly 15 objectives before you can complete it. On the way to the ending, you will need to find a market, search a police car, get to the library, find a girl, escape from library, find a pharmacy, take meds, get out, search another police car, find more weapons, get out again, get to the port, escape from the metro, get to the port again, escape on a ship, and that's it. You're treated to the game's ending, which is this singular screen. So yeah, what else can I say here? The products produced by West Connection Limited are the eShop equivalent of a web browser pop-up packed with malware, and it's disappointing that Nintendo even allows such a product onto their
Cena
shop.
ridícula,
It also
bro.
got me thinking about these smaller projects in general. So here's some Unity-based games created by students at a local German university.
Uau.
They're clever, interesting ideas with functional mechanics and an original visual design. These are all games made by students learning about game development, and yet they absolutely wipe the floor with anything West Connection Limited has ever produced. These students have a bright future ahead of them, and we can only hope that the inverse is true for West Connection Limited. So as I begin to wrap up this video, let me just say this.
9 euros.
It's been a cathartic
Por esta
project,
merda.
yet also eye-opening.
Não
I
sei, Dark.
grossly ignored the shovelware
Vou ver.
infesting digital storefronts and assumed that many of them were relatively innocuous. But when you see something like this, it really pulls back the curtain on the depravity festering
Mano, eu tenho
in
que jogar
certain
isto
corners of
antes
the
que isto
industry.
seja retirado da
The
Nintendo
Last
eShop.
Hope is designed to take
Portanto,
your
é
money.
hoje.
There is no game here.
É
This is
hoje,
effectively
claro.
a scam. We all knew this going from that original trailer, of course, but the fact that the actual quote-unquote game is so much less than even that trailer
Man,
is genuinely
Jesus
shocking.
Christ.
So next time you find yourself looking at a game like Redfall or Destruction All-Stars and thinking, gee, these games are bad, I want you to step back, take a deep breath, and remember The Last Hope, Dead Zone Survival.
Foda-se, mano, que bom. Que bom. Espetacular. Incrível. The Last Hope.